Hey, this is a really good time that we love to catch up with you at Bridgeway. It's a new year, and we call that new opportunities for those, which really includes everyone, who wants to better their health overall. Tell us about that.
Well, I think everybody starts with their New Year's resolutions, if you're into that. Want to better themselves. Everybody's going to go back to the gym and do all the right things. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to drink more water. But along with that is mental health too, So I think people should really set goals all the time. But if you're looking to do that at the beginning of the year and start fresh, how are you going to take better care of yourself? We call it obviously self-care. So what are you going to do to make yourself feel better just in general? And that could be so many different things. And it may be things like exercising and eating well and drinking water, but maybe it's, starting counseling or reaching out and connecting with people and making sure other people are feeling well as well. I mean, it's not just about you, it's about everybody.
How do people seek counseling? That's probably one of the biggest factors of maybe why it's daunting. Who do you even call? Who do you trust? You hear great stories, you hear horror stories.
Exactly. And I think that everybody's experience is individual. I mean, nobody experiences the same thing. We even tell people, when you're talking with somebody else, you don't want to say things like, oh, I've been through that too, or I know what you mean, or, because everybody experiences things very differently. If you're looking to get into counseling, there's a lot of different ways. Online counseling has really taken off since COVID. People really like that. You don't necessarily have to be directly in a room with somebody, but we have found that a lot of people still really like that face-to-face, in-person experience. So you can go 100 different routes. You can always call any local agency to find out the resources in your area. And I tell people, you don't have to come to Bridgeway. If you need help, get help wherever you want to or where you feel comfortable to. Sure, we would love to be able to provide whatever you need, but not everybody is comfortable with that.
And not everybody has insurance that can
Correct.
cover it. So I'm glad you mentioned calling local agencies. What are some non-for-profit ways that people can receive counseling if they don't have insurance that will cover this?
That's a great question. We've seen a lot of improvements actually in the insurance field ever since the Affordable Care Act. We have found that a lot more insurance cover, even private insurance, will cover mental health. They'll cover substance use treatment, and that's really necessary. People struggle with that, and if we want to talk about how important those things are, we want to make sure people are able to get the services they can. But even if that isn't an option, and there still are people out there without insurance, there are a lot of agencies that work on a sliding scale or kind of a pay-as-you-can type of thing. And I think those types of resources have got to be available to everybody because sometimes the people in most need don't have as many resources.
Sure. Well, and let's also talk about the difference between needing to seek counseling. Maybe you need medication. Maybe you've come off of medication. There are reasons why counseling is imperative. Then there's also the seasonal affective disorder.
Yes. And it is very real. And I think people don't really, people kind of make fun of it. We're just like, oh, you've just got the winter blues, but it is a very real thing, at that time of the year when it gets dark so early and, we feel like it's midnight and it's like 5 o'clock, people struggle with that. Everybody needs that vitamin D and that light and that brightness to get themselves sometimes moving and engaging and connecting. And so people really do struggle with that. And I think it's important at this time of the year, everybody needs to be safe, but you do need to get out and you need to not isolate in your home and find activities that work for you. But sometimes it's as easy as getting one of those ultraviolet lights to put on your desk. People love those and say they work really well.
Air purifiers, I've heard, are really good this time of year because it is so dry. I mean, gosh, we have, a foot and 3 inches on the ground, something like that.
And whatever works for you and whatever makes you feel better, but don't let that winter feeling take over and run your life. Get out and get connected with people.
But yeah, please go to our events page on our website. There are all sorts of activities and events taking place that you can get out in the community, whether it's a trivia night for a local fundraiser.
Absolutely.
Or the local YMCA, Galesburg Park and Recs. There are places to go to be with people and have activities and socialization.
Absolutely. And I think that just connecting with other people, even if it's your family, don't lose sight of how important that is. And I think it is hard in the winter because we want to, go home and snuggle up under that blanket on our couch and not get out. But you can make connections by phone. Even if you're texting, just be reaching out and talking to people.